have been very quiet on the details. And this happened literally, okay, this comes out in September. So this happened like a month ago, 2 months ago. Like it just happened. So they've been quiet on the details. But one source said that a few days into the missing persons report, LA County Sheriff deputies responded to a fire in Inglewood, California. When they got there, the police found a Jane Doe in a red sleeping bag on fire. There was duct tape on the body's arms and over the mouth, and they were able to identify the body as Patty's. Police now knew they had a murder on their hands, and they started taking a deep dive into Patty's life after, like, obviously letting her family know, which I didn't find any information about, but, like, I can't imagine how hard that would have to be. I think I have more information about how long it took for them to say, like, for them to find the body. But, like, I don't know if I ever told you this, but my sister went missing for, like, an afternoon, but it wasn't, like, anything bad. She fell asleep on the bus in the back seat. And so she didn't get off of the bus. And I didn't think anything of it because I was like 5 or 6. I was very young myself. And she was older than I was. And nobody could find her for like, I think they found her 4 hours later. Like they had to go to the bus.
Terrifying.
Like, I remember my mom was crying a lot, but I was like, it's fine. Like, because I was 5 or 6. I'm like, who cares? She'll be back. Like, oh, I just can't imagine as a parent. I think about that sometimes, like the look on my mom's face when I came in and my sister didn't.
4 hours probably felt like 30 days to your mom.
She just cried the entire time. Like it was horrible. So when they like did a deep dive into Patty's like life, they obviously looked at her social media, and police reached out to Facebook, who owns Instagram, and they asked for the IP address associated with a man that Patty had been Instagram messaging. Police were able to log into Patty's Instagram account and quickly saw a conversation that was problematic. Facebook gave them the IP address, and police linked the address to a T-Mobile account registered to a 24-year-old man named Armando Cruz. Police also learned that Armando owned an older white Ford pickup truck like the one seen in the neighbor's security footage.
Circling, waiting for someone to come out of her house, maybe?
Yeah, maybe that one. Seems like the one. Also, thank you, Facebook, because I feel like we hear about a lot of cases that are like, they wouldn't give them the documents or they wouldn't give them the login or whatever. But Facebook was like, yeah, it's this IP address. Here you go. But also IP addresses are public information. So
yeah, I also imagine with a child, it's probably involved. It's different than like
they're like, yeah,
consenting people, and they already found her. And
yeah. So that the Instagram messages were disturbing to say the least. According to court documents, Armando asked Patty for nude pictures. Now remember, he's 24 and she's 13. She sent him 20 nude pictures. The court does detail this in a graphic sense, and I don't want to go into detail because it's not necessary, to understand what nude pictures are. But anyway, so that was on her side. And then he sent her a dick pic, which stop. If you're sending anyone an unsolicited dick pic, like stop. That's just a PSA, a public Sarah announcement. It was also clear in the messages that he had pressured her into meeting him previously. So they found out she's met him before, but had met him online through Instagram and then met with him in person. And he was now pressuring her into meeting him for a second time. And it was pretty clear that she was like just kind of doing what he said, like not, she was pressured. It is clear. And also she's 13, so she can't consent.
Know.
Yeah. So the first time that they met, he forced her to give him oral sex. It's also pretty clear that she didn't want to do that, and it was like forceful. The police had more than enough to bring Armando in for questioning because he had sent explicit pictures to a child and asked for explicit pictures back. Well, he came in, he was pretty honest. He's like, yeah, it's true. He knew Patty through Instagram. He was like, yeah, we definitely exchanged like nude pics. He also was like, yeah, me and Patty have met up a couple times, actually. The police pressed Armando on this meeting about the night that Patty went missing. And he admitted that night that, yeah, he saw her that night. He's like, yeah, she got into my truck and she got upset and told me she didn't want to go with me. Like, he was very forthcoming. After only a little while of questioning, Armando began to open up and tell police what had happened the night that he picked up Patty. Like, this part's hard to talk about, but he went into detail about like...
Oh, so he admitted it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was just like, yeah, I did these things. So they arrested Armando of kidnapping and murder. So Armando claimed, yes, he knew she was 13. He's like, yeah, duh. He said when Patty was in the truck, he picked her up at her house and she got in his truck. And that the minute she got in the truck, she started to scream because she like changed her mind or whatever, or felt like she had to. I don't know why. But anyway, she started screaming. She didn't want to be in the truck regardless. He forced her to give him oral sex. This is what he told the police. He then raped her. And I'd also like to say the court docs don't actually say that he raped her. They called it just sexual intercourse. And then they had sexual intercourse. I'm like, no, it said, and
13, it's fucking rape.
Well, and then it was like, and then he forced her to have sexual intercourse. I'm like, that's a sentence for rape. Like,
I hate when people say like non-consensual sex. That's rape. Stop using the term non-consensual sex.
It's not the same thing.
There is sex and there's rape. There's no fucking in between.
Yep, exactly. So anyways, it made me so mad that the official court doc said that, which maybe like any lawyers, Heather, maybe you can be like, well, rape isn't like, you can't actually try someone on the, like maybe there's a reason, but still it should, rape is a real thing.
Well, yeah, maybe in the eyes of the law, non-consensual sex is a term, but we should also stop using it there because I said so. Because it's rape.
Because Luminol said.
And she's 13, so
it's not
statutory rape at the least.
Yeah, no, that is a law word. Statutory rape is something you get charged for. Yes. But anyways, to get back into this horrible part, I feel sad that I have to say any of this, but she fought with him. And she screamed at him, and he said that he continued to rape her and put his hand over her mouth. After a few minutes, Armando said that he got like really frustrated with her screaming, and so he strangled her until she passed out. He said he thought she was alive, so he put duct tape he had in his truck over her mouth and bound her arms. But before he put the duct tape on, he like gagged her with something, but it was like something he could find in his truck or whatever. He said he intended to kill her like at that moment. He was like, no, I thought she was alive. So I was trying to kill her, because I didn't want to get in trouble. I'm like, bitch, you're here telling this whole story and you're going to get busted. So like, really? Part of me is like, don't make excuses. Like you just wanted to kill her. Like that's what it was. So after he was sure she had died, he then proceeded, and this is really terrible, to rape her postmortem a couple times.
Jesus Christ.
And then he said he wrapped her body in a blanket, drove her to Inglewood, which is a town nearby. He slept in the back of his truck that night with her body in there. And then he put her body in a red sleeping bag that he had in his truck. And he dropped it off in a parking lot near like some factory type like industrial stuff. And then he doused it in lighter fluid, set it on fire, and drove away.
What a sick fuck.
Yes. I don't usually get into the specific counts of what the person was charged with, but I was able to find them, so I'm going to read them all.
I like knowing because sometimes I'm shocked that it's someone does something horrific and then it's some light charge.
Okay, well, get ready for this because there's a lot. 1 count of first-degree murder, 1 count of kidnapping and rape. So there, it is an official term. 1 count of destroying evidence, 1 count of harming a minor, 2 counts of contacting a minor with the intention of sex, 2 counts of mutilating a corpse, 4 counts of unlawful conduct with a minor under the age of 14, 1 count of rape by force, 1 count of sex with a minor when you're over the age of 21, 1 count of possession of a minor for sex, and 2 counts of soliciting, which is essentially because he had offered to pay her. I didn't mention that earlier, but he had offered to pay her for sex. Like, he'd be like, well, I'll even give you like $20 or I don't know what it was, but you know what I mean?
It seems like, and I could be wrong, but it seems like he was looking online for someone to maybe groom to use for sex. And when she fought back, he just wasn't having it.
Yeah. And he's like, I'll just whatever, enrage or whatever it is. So Armando pled not guilty after he told what had happened. He pled not guilty on all counts, though he had told this daunting tale of evidence. And he also, which is more evidence, he knew about the duct tape before the public did. So like he knew what the body looked like. It was never, the public didn't know she had duct tape on her mouth and hands. And he was able to say that and that she was gagged. Like that wasn't public information. Only the police knew that. So again, damning evidence. He also told the detectives where her cell phone was on a highway median at that Highway 99 in Panama Lane. And that's where the phone was and it was recovered. So again, how would he know that unless he were guilty? Armando's next court date is September 3rd, which when we're recording this, it's a couple days out. But once this comes out, it'll actually have already passed. But it's still set for September 3rd. So we'll find out like after this. You might be able to go look that up now, how that resolved. He is being held with no bail, according to the Kern County Jail website. But that's poor Patty that just happened.
Yeah, I hate to say that it's easy to do this, but it is so easy to take advantage of young children.
And teens and...
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and I was referring to her when I said children, but it's just, it's easy. You're going through puberty. Your hormones are all fucked. You're you feel ugly and fat and all this, you're
Well, and
feeling all
also-
these things. And when someone gives you attention, like it's so fucking scary how easy it is.
Well, and as I'm not trying to sound like discriminatory in any way. I love children and teenagers, but your brain isn't developed as to what it is when you're in your mid-20s and later.
Oh, no, that's not discriminatory. That's true.
Yeah, no, it's just like your brain isn't fully developed, and you don't have really sophisticated judgment calls for like long-term judgment and things like that. They're just not as refined yet.
But that's why it's easy, and people know that. There's no way in any fucking case where a teen or a child is a victim that you could say it's their, like it's never their fault. They never do anything. Like they're literally just being their age. And it's so,
I was recently listening to an episode of Case File. Case File is this Australian guy who like does all these crime episodes. It's really dry. And he's doing an episode where these two boys were kidnapped, and they were kidnapped and found like 7 years later, I think, alive. And the guy, he was found when he was a teenager because he was kidnapped when he was 7.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling like, this guy was just like, hey, your mom, talked to your mom and she said you could come with me. And then he was like, oh, cool. Okay. So he was walking home. And then he said he enjoyed the car ride. The guy was nice. He said, they were going the wrong way. And so he was like, oh, my house is that way. And then the guy was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. He stopped at a payphone, came back and he's like, I just called your mom again. And she said you could stay the night. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. And he got there and there were like, how would you not, you just be like, okay, thanks. Like you call my mom.
And it's not because kids are dumb.
No.
It's literally because they're not developed and they don't know any better. They're so trusting and innocent, and they count on us as adults to take care of them. And when some sick fuck, it's just, these are the worst kids. They're like, there's no one more innocent than a child.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry to bring that to you. But if you haven't heard of the recent case of Patty, like, and you want to read more, you can go check it out. There wasn't a ton of information. I had to dig pretty deep for even that. But
well, because a lot's going to come out at trial.
Yep.
No, I think it's important to talk about these cases because social media just gets bigger and bigger and is more like in front of everyone's lives, and
it's infused with life.
And people at very young ages are getting social media. And I know this was a big thing a long time ago, and they had all these shows like To Catch a Predator or whatever, but we kind of have stopped talking about it. And we need to know, like, it's still happening. This still happens. You have to watch this stuff.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but To Catch a Predator and stuff was more about the internet and email and chat rooms. Yeah. Like, I don't know if there has been like a ton about, so other than like catfishing, but like about social media.
But social media has made all that way easier.
Yeah. It's very scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, rest in peace, poor Patty. You know, what else do you say? I think we need
fucking family.
Oh, I know. Yeah. But there was a GoFundMe page and they've surpassed their goal. I can put it in the show notes, I guess, if anyone wants to contribute, that I'm sure the family would.
Yeah, I remember you said that's when you got a lot of information about who Patty was as a person.
Like they had like listed all this stuff in the GoFundMe about her and loving dirt bikes and being sassy. And it was just, there's pictures and it's just a nice little homage to Patty. But all right, let's grab another beer.
Okay.
Well,
that's better. The next beer we have, Sarah thinks we've had it before. I don't think we have. You guys can tell us who's right if you recognize this. I'm a bitch if you don't recognize it.
And I'm a bitch if you do.
Sarah's a fucking fool. I don't know. I just don't think I've ever had it. But I guess I should trust Sarah because she has a way better memory than me. But it's Santan Brewing, which is local, and it's called Mr. Pineapple. It's a pineapple wheat beer.
Wheat.
It's a stylish wheat with a tropical personality, infused with fresh pineapple juice from fair trade Costa Rican farms. Takes traditional wheat beer and adds some seriously cool character. I did not make that up. It's from the can.
We thought that you did. We thought you were an artiste of words.
Oh, I am. Just not those words. Just different words.
Different ones, yeah. Ooh, that looks hazy.
Does it look like a beer you've had before?
You look like a beer I've had before.
Our glasses just made love.
Come on over here.
Oh, it smells like it smells like fresh pineapple. I don't think we've ever had this. This smells like fresh.
Ew.
It smells like, ew. What do you mean? No, this smells like you open up a pineapple and you're smelling it.
No, I said ew because it made under my tongue water. Like salivate.
Oh, yeah. Because it smells like, it doesn't smell like artificial. It just smells like a fresh fucking pineapple.
Apparently that makes my mouth salivate.
I thought I was going to hate it, but I like it.